Back here with Coach Ron Bandy of the Bolivar, and if my memory serves me correctly, you in maybe your last year or so at Lebanon, 10, 11 years ago, you on the boys' side, I think you guys got a trophy and cross. Is that right? Or
we did.
And then,
that was 2006. Yeah.
And then you come here, and then last year your girls win the state title, and you're the last team named for Class 3, and on that podium. Tell me what that was like.
It was something else, because we have been, the girls have been, they had a quick learning curve. We've been kind of the top level of the state for a lot of years, and we just kept finishing 6th and 5th, and 7th and 8th, and then 6th and 5th, and we just kept being that odd one out, just a couple points shy. And then all of a sudden the boys kind of step in, and we've had in the last last 4 years, we've had 3 times that we've been right in there. Well, no, that's one more than I need there. 2 times in the last 3 years we have been just a handful, like 4 points shy of being a trophy team, and the kids have just kind of blossomed. And last year was kind of one of those things, we were outclassed. Notre Dame, I thought, was just going to take it to us. They're great runners, and my girls just kept coming together and getting faster and faster and faster, and the guys were getting faster and faster. And we came into the state meet, and I'm watching them warm up the day before, and I'm watching the day of, and the guys, they weren't even picked to get out of districts. I think they were picked 3rd in districts, and we win districts by a point, and then we end up getting 6th at state. So I see their results, and I can feel it coming, man. If the guys improved from that to this, what can these girls do? And we just thought the huddle was special, and watching them to move together was special. And my oldest daughter is on the team, and that was the girls that have been there, been with us for a long time, watching Kelly progress, and my daughter's best friend Lacey's on there. And we had a soccer player that had been running with us in the summertime since she was in middle school, and then finally pulled the trigger and came out her senior year. It was just kind of all the puzzle pieces came together, and we talk about it all the time. Our program prides itself on just being a pack-oriented, team-oriented stuff, and we talk about love all the time, and you could see it. They all genuinely loved each other and would have run through a wall of fire for each other.
Sure.
And you could see it in the race. You could see the race progress. We get to the 2-mile marker, and they just kind of uncorked it and went. And we didn't know. We thought we were still second. And I'm holding my phone, and there's a video of it somewhere online. Our newspaper guy caught it for us, and I look at it, and I take a deep breath, and I turn it around, and Kelly Henderson just screams, "We got first!" And we all dropped to a knee, crying and praying, and it was awesome to share that with not only my team, me for the first time. That's one of those goals you just figure, hey, I'm going to have that as a goal, and it's never going to happen.
Sure.
But it did.
Yeah.
And to have my daughter part of it too, and my wife's my assistant coach. And my youngest daughter's now part of the team, and she was there taking pictures. Just it was a family thing, and just like everything, the sport's just family.
And what's that like? Now coaching both 2 daughters on the team? What's that relationship dynamic like?
Well, sometimes you would think you'd be like, well, that's great, and then there's other days that I'm thinking this is a mistake. I always wanted somebody else to coach my kids.
Sure.
I want them to have what I had. I had great high school coaches. I had obviously a great college coach, and I wanted them to have that relationship. And you need a coach that's going to push you and be your encourager, and you also need your parents sometimes to be that rock and say, hey, this is what's got to happen, and that encourager. And for my daughters, unfortunately, I'm the same jerk. So I do my best to try to, and I will tell them, this is your father speaking, this is coach speaking,
mm-hmm.
and I try to keep them separate. Coaches at school, dad's at home, and then sometimes I'll say stuff specifically at practice so that when I come home, your coach said, you need to do this weekend. So it is very special to have the whole family on the team. As there were so many years I had to give up being dad to be with this job, because I live, eat, and breathe it. And my wife is so wonderful. Always brought the girls when they were little to the meets, and then when she finally got an opportunity to coach with me again, because she'd spent some time doing that earlier before we had the girls. And then
she ran at SMS also?
She did run at SMS. In terms of comparison, my wife was an absolute stud, and I was kind of at the back of things. So she was school record holder and stuff, state champion in high school. I definitely married up. Thank goodness for my daughters too that happened. But having her part of the program, and then as the girls entered in as middle schoolers and now high schoolers, it's the family time that I lost before is now here.
Right. Now as they're little kids and they're experiencing you going to meets and seeing you interact with your kids, and once they started to get older and get into sports, did they resist that and think, nah, that's Dad's thing, I'm going to do my own stuff and soccer and softball, or were they open to it right away?
They were pretty open to it, and my wife and I have actually visited quite a bit about this because we're such driven competitors, and we did not want to do that to our kids. We didn't want to live through our kids. We had our time as athletes. We had great coaches that we got to love and motivate us, and we never pushed our girls really into anything. We just said, you need to be active. So they went through the softballs and the basketballs and that kind of stuff, and running was so entrenched in our family that it was kind of just that next step. And there was a learning curve because once they got involved in it, they'd never had a coach really say, this has got to happen, never get pushed, because we didn't want to push. And as parents, we never wanted to push because we didn't ever want to be those parents.
Sure.
And so there was a learning curve because once they stepped in the program, they had to understand, well, Dad is now our coach, and Dad, he's going to get the best out of me. And it's come together well. There's days that there's tears, and there's days that I've got to remind them that I do love them more than my own life, but this is what's got to happen.
Sure.
And they both responded so well. And it's nice when Anna, she got All-State last year, and being part of the state champion team too, there's both of her kind of puzzle pieces came together. I looked at her after and I said, do you understand now? And she said, yes. And that to me was finally, okay, I've got through the fear of being that overbearing parent, and I've done it right. And Emily, the same thing. She's trying to find her wings as well, and she's had some success. And today medaling here today for her was something special.
Right.